Okay, we are live with the brand with video boys. Going to talk about micro content mastery, question and answer session. These guys have been putting out a lot of really phenomenal information when it comes to using micro content for yourself, for your clients, what it's doing for their business and what it's doing for their clients' businesses. If you guys haven't already, go back and watch the workshop that they put on. It was like a 2-hour lesson with so much incredible information. Like, I asked if people learned 5 things, everybody raised their hand. We had people learn 10, 15 new things in that 2-hour session alone. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. You can watch the recording. Yes, it is recorded. This is being recorded as well, so you'll be able to watch this later on. But we ran so long in that workshop with so much value that we did not get a chance to answer a lot of questions. So the team has decided to come on back to answer y'all's questions. So here's how it's going to work. If you guys are in the Zoom room, we're going to use the yellow hand emoji if you have a question. So you'll put your questions up. If you're watching in Facebook, I'm going to be watching and moderating the Facebook group as well. So if you're watching on Facebook and you have a question, just put it in there and I will pass it forward to the guys. So guys, thanks again for coming back and answering questions, because we just didn't even have time to do it last time because you guys dropped so much fire. I appreciate you guys being willing to come back here and answer more questions. So with that said, let's just do it. Raise the hands if you guys have questions. I know I have a whole bunch, but I'm gonna get out of the way and let you guys answer questions or ask questions. What you got? Okay, let's go to Emmanuel Sanchez. What you got, man?
What's going on, guys? So just a quick question I had is there a specific minimum you suggest someone to have for micro content?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. 30 a month minimum has become the new minimum. The most we have is 90 a month at the moment.
Oh, wow. So you just suggest somebody to do one every day? Makes sense?
Sir.
Why is that the minimum?
It's, first of all, it allows us to charge as low as we do, which comes out to $100 a reel. So 30 reels per month, $3,000. But 2, it's just going to get them the best results. It's not even about us. It's about whether they work with us or anyone else out there, they should be posting every single day if they want to get the most out of their organic growth.
Yeah. One more thing to add to that as well is we're able to collect data. With the more content we post, we see what was working, we see what's not working, and then we double down on that.
Do you guys, can you expand on how much time you guys, is it the same, about the same amount of time that you would do in a regular production? Like how long does 30 videos take for you guys to create and edit and do all that stuff?
Yeah. Go ahead,
Rob.
Anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours, like a half day shoot. You know, if you plan everything out properly, you'll get a whole month of content in a half day shoot. 2 to 4 hours.
Yep. And as far as the editing goes, you know, typically we try to keep the edits about an hour to an hour and a half each. And then there's some clients that are remote. So with the remote clients, we typically have to sift the footage ourselves, and then we send it out to the team and then they take care of it. And then we have some clients where we do the filming, and that's where it takes 2 to 4 hours to do all 30 videos.
Nice.
All right.
The last thing I'd add to that, real quick, is those are kind of our numbers, but it'll take some time to dial that in, and you guys can definitely get there. I would encourage you to start doing one a day for yourself and get some micro contents going for yourself, see what that looks like, and then figure out what you can do better and what you can do quicker from there after experimenting and getting marketing content out for yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I hope you guys heard that. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time, 2 to 4 hours, some editing time. If you outsource the editing, and then it's $2,000 per month. Do the math, guys. That's easy. That's easy money, short amount of time. And you can stack retainers on top of retainers with this kind of stuff. So good question, Manuel. Let's go over to Graham. Graham, what question you got?
So in the workshop, you had mentioned doing it for your own business and stuff, and how that with the algorithm can generate the leads because people are seeing your stuff and whatnot. Are you using any sort of hashtag strategically to associate with that? Or are you just like, what are you doing along those lines?
Great question. So I'd say for especially now, Instagram hashtags really aren't as relevant. I mean, they posted, the CEO of Instagram's talked about this, how it's all they're using what's written in the caption. So just make sure what you write in the caption is relevant to your post and your target audience. And then it's also the sounds, whatever sounds is incorporated with the reel is gonna get it help pushed out. So Instagram, really don't worry about hashtags anymore. TikTok hashtags do help, no more than 3 to 5. Is there a certain hashtag? I think we use hashtag video marketing, content marketing. There isn't a perfect hashtag that works. What I will say has worked the best for us though, and the way we've generated the most amount of leads, is posting this content on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and then strategically adding people who are in your target audience who you want to watch those videos. So it takes a little bit of time, but if you've seen the trainings that we've done, it's very quick. You can easily do 25 to 50 people a day, and that adds up.
Totally, man.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Just the last part to that, you know, with the using hashtags and all this stuff for yourself with the client acquisition, eventually, so we've actually, that's how we kind of got to where we're at, but we're definitely moved away from the Facebook stuff as much, purely because now we're doing volume. Like if you guys were to look at our company Instagram page, that's being posted on every single day. So we like listen to, you know, we take our own recipe. And so from there, we're getting leads that way. But if you need micro content deals now, you don't have that many retainers, go the Facebook, LinkedIn way, because you don't even need to make 30 to get some deals. You know, you could probably do it with like 15 or 12. But you are more active in like the adding friends on Facebook, adding connections on LinkedIn, messaging them, right? That's where you need it less. If you're to do less outreach, then you need more volume. And so that's just where we're at now, where it's easier to produce volume than it is to do outreach. But if you're just starting out and you want 1, 2, 3 retainers, go the route that Jay just said, which was make less micros, but be more strategic, do more outreach, and you'll get clients that way.
All right, Graham, does that answer your question?
Yeah, man, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Okay. And as we go here, guys, keep your questions on point, right? Let's get through some questions. If it starts to draw out into some crazy long story, I might have to reel you back in and get you to your question here. So, all right, let's go over to Damian Gray. Damian, what's your question, brother?
Sorry, unmuted. We're good. Yeah, I was just curious. You guys were showing, you know, the first videos that you did, or I guess one of the earlier videos that you've done before this started. And I was curious what it's like in your guys' experience in getting, you know, starting out this whole process, and then you get feedback maybe from a client initially that they see that video and they may think, man, we want to use that entire video instead of trying to break it up throughout the month or whatever you guys have set up. So I'm curious for you guys, how do you set up your conversation with whoever the clients are, in regards to how many videos that you're putting out, as well as, I guess, just comforting them and making sure that they realize that this is the best approach in doing something like this. Because of course, as we all know, there's many different options. People might see that video like, yeah, we want to do the whole thing, a nice promotional, it's awesome, that's a nice flagship video. But at the end, the actual goal is wanting to create consistency online and with your producing. So I'm just curious if you guys can kind of speak on that a little bit, and just kind of with the ends of just being able to kind of encourage that to the client, instead of just trying to force what you do to them.
Yeah, I'll touch on that real briefly, and I think Rob probably has some value to add on the production side as well, like how to actually coach them through. But on the sales side, seems like that's kind of what you're asking, is how to set those expectations, how to encourage people to want to take this direction instead of maybe the higher long produced video. And it's not really that yes, we encourage them through the questions we ask them, but it's all about asking them what they want. So one of the first questions we ask in a conversation is, you know, they come to us with whatever idea about doing video. Usually it's very vague. Hey, I know I need to be doing video. I want to come out with these videos. Or ideally they've seen our videos and they say, I want to make videos like you guys. That's usually where the two main leads that come in. From there, we just ask them, okay, great, Mrs. Jones, what would be the goal of these videos? Are you looking to increase brand awareness or grow your revenue? And they'll say, oh, Jay, I want a combination of both. Okay, great, Mrs. Jones. Well, when it comes to, you know, growing your brand online, do you see this as a long-term thing, or a short-term thing. So you'll notice I never tell them, Mrs. Jones, you should do micro content because it's going to be the long term. I ask them, what do you see this as? And if whatever reason they say but the way you ask, so if I ask Mrs. Jones, do you see this as a long-term thing or a short-term thing? Of course they're going to say long-term. Like, why would they say short-term? Like, it just makes them sound maybe not like they're just trying for a quick win. And if they've been in business long enough, this is key point. If they've been in business long enough, which most of the people we work with are high 6 to 7-figure entrepreneurs, they're doing more revenue than us. They know more than us. They understand that it's all in the long-term game, right? But it's still up to us to ask them those questions so that they give you the answer that it's long-term. And then when you get to the pitch part of things, it's like, absolutely, Mrs. Jones. Well, you already know that this is a long-term thing, right? So let me ask you, how many times a day would you like to post? You see, that's how you get them, right? How many times a day? They're like, what? A day? At least once, right? At least, well, if you ask them, how many times a month would you like to post? Oh, maybe twice a month. How many times a day would you like to post is a completely different question. So it's all about the questions you ask, and then they give you the answers that ultimately you wanted to hear, and is going to get them closest to where they want to be. So that's how we get them to initially commit. Rob, if you want to touch on, how, especially with like Mercy, how you're filming all those videos so quickly, all that good stuff. But did that answer part of your question, Damien?
Yes.
We can. So, yeah, I'm actually going to take something from your book, Jay, because you were the one that created this analogy that I've used plenty of times on sales conversations. Jay is very good with the fitness analogies, and the fitness is just something that is so universal that a lot of people should be able to understand. But when I heard him say this, I ended up immediately copying it. And the question was like, you identify the goal, right? Well, the goal is to make X much in revenue. Well, it's similar in like, weight loss. Like, are you trying, how much weight are you trying to lose? I'm trying to lose 20 pounds. Okay. And then, so earlier, Damon, to what you were saying, like the one big video or like the multi-big production versus tons of deliverables, less production, more consistency. Which of the two, like, how do you get them to go? So then you ask them the question and you say, well, let's just say it's like you were trying to lose 20 pounds. Let me ask you, what do you think is going to help you get there? Doing a jog for 15, 20 minutes every single day for 2 to 3 months, or doing a marathon tomorrow? What do you think is going to help you get there? And they will say doing the jogs 20 minutes every single day for 2 to 3 months. And through these questions, you are conditioning them to think long-term versus saying, I'm going to make you a video, I'm going to blow up your business right now. Because if you do say that, then you're helping them set that expectation. Everybody already has an expectation. So when they come to you, you either like pour into their own expectation or you morph them into realistic expectations of what it's like working with you. So that was just the last part. It's a great analogy. I might have like bookered it. I haven't used it in a little bit, but that's one. And then you said you had something production wise, like how to make all these videos. Was that a question as well in there, or?
No, I mean, production wise, I get it. That's understandable. I think that's the main thing, is just being able to kind of listen, but also being able to comfort the person. Because I see in the video that you guys posted, and I'm like, I think you said something like, we did so much in the beginning doing all these things for them. And I'm like, well, customers might see that and think, yes, I want all of that for this one video, this one time. So how do you battle that, and how do you, in a way that's comforting and not like a hammer?
Yeah. I guess the last part I would say about that is people come to you with what they want, but you can't just say, yes, that's a great idea. Like, you have to kind of, think of yourself like a doctor. Like I may come to a doctor and say, I have a migraine, I want a pill. And they will say, well, let me ask you some questions. And then they ask you some questions, you answer the questions. And then, they're like, actually, I don't think you need a pill. I think you need an adjustment. I think you need to get some sleep. I think you need to do this. So clients come to you with crazy ideas all the time. They may have seen your previous work and they're like, I love it. I want something like that. I would love to make you something like that, Mrs. Jones. But let me ask you, like, what are you hoping this to achieve for you? What are you trying to get out of this? And then you just like almost throw out of the window whatever it is that they say and do a brand new re-diagnosis, because if you end up making the video that they want and they don't get the results that they were expecting, the only person they're going to blame is you. Right,
for sure. Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you, guys.
Good stuff. Let's go to a question from Facebook. I think this is very relevant. So Yakov, I think I'm saying that right. Yakov, he's having a hard time getting potential clients to sign the deal because of the way the economy is going and seeing marketing budgets being slashed. And he's wondering How do you combat that? Feels like he keeps getting ghosted even after talking with someone who sounds excited about putting something together.
Great question. Okay, let me make sure I understand. So what he's asking is he's having a hard time getting clients because the economy is bad. People's marketing budgets are low.
That's what he's saying.
Okay, so one, the first thing I'll just say right now, the economy is always going to be bad. There's never enough money that any client's ever going to have, right? And people will pay for what they value, no matter what the circumstances are. So I just want to share with you and hopefully give you a mindset reframe that the market is never going to have a direct effect on you, right? And yes, it will. I mean, it has an effect on everyone, but not so much that it's going to completely limit your business. You have to adapt as an entrepreneur and make sure that you can grow. So the other thing I would say is you may not be targeting the right people. I don't know who you're targeting, but you have to remember the big thing that we push is working with people who have a high ticket offer or a product, at least $500 to $2,000, because in their mind, when they choose to hire you, they're thinking, okay, if this social media stuff works and I just sell an extra one or two of my things, this is worth it. And of course it's going to work, right? But it also doesn't put as much of a huge expectation on your end, where if you're, selling, let's say, pens, now you got to sell 1,000 pens a month through your social media content to even get them an ROI. That becomes very hard. And of course, they want to track everything and they want all these metrics to measure it all. Whereas when they have a higher ticket offer, they know, or at least they believe, if they came to you, especially if they came to you and they listened to other people in the space, Alex Harmonzi, Gary Vee, people that are telling them they should be making content, they already know they should be, right? It's like someone telling you you should exercise. You already know you should exercise. It's just who are you going to choose to be your personal trainer, right? Or who are you going to choose to be your accountability buddy or whatever? And that's where you come in and create that win-win situation, which is, hey, I understand the market's hard right now. I understand you might not have the biggest budget. So what we want to do, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is we want to work on a sustainable monthly retainer. I don't want you to tell me that your budget is $10,000 this month and then $500 next month. Let's just start with what's sustainable. Let me ask you, I get your marketing budget is as big as it used to be, but what seems sustainable for you? So that's a huge keyword I'd recommend everyone to incorporate into their sales conversations is the word sustainable, because business owners really appreciate that. And it just implements the mindset of a long-term relationship from the beginning. So they'll tell you what's sustainable. Oh, I can only do $500 right now. Well, this is where you as a business owner need to have integrity, in my opinion, and say, okay, Mrs. Jones, well, I got to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to be able to achieve your result with a $500 budget, whether you work with me or anyone else out there. What I might recommend for you is if $500 is your only budget, I can tell you, I can't take you on as a client. We have our minimums, for a reason. I told you it's a minimum of $3,000 a month, but maybe you can go on Fiverr and you can find and I genuinely try to help them. But in my mind, I'm not thinking, what can I take from this person? I'm thinking, is this a good fit or not? And if they're only have a budget of $500 and what they're selling isn't a high ticket option, then they're just not a good fit. And no matter how good of a video strategist I am or how much value we provide with our business, it just isn't a good fit, right? So you just have to understand, it's like dating, right? If you have a type and like for sure, no matter what, you have to have someone who rubs your back or rubs your tummy after you eat dinner, and whoever your partner is doesn't want to rub your tummy, you can only put up with that for so long until you're like, man, this just isn't the right fit, right? So you just have to be able to be realistic with yourself, know what you want, what you don't want, and don't settle for it. And if for whatever reason a partner doesn't want to rub your tummy, direct them to someone who might want that. So direct them to Fiverr is usually what we do. If your budget's $500, go to Fiverr. And guess what? Hopefully they have a decent experience, but they probably won't have the best experience because again, everyone knows you pay what you get for, and they might come back after that. So that's how I would answer that question.
Good stuff. Jay, Derek's shaking his head. He's not rubbing your tummy, bro. It's not.
Please, Derek, please.
Not gonna happen. Doesn't matter. Okay, real quick, guys, before we go to the next question, again, these guys put together a phenomenal program. They're already starting to push out the modules. We are in the pre-sale phase of their program. So for the next like 6 days and a couple hours, the micro content mastery is the cheapest that will ever be. If you haven't already, go jump on that. There is a split pay option available. And they've already got bonuses, the bonus content up and running, which quite honestly was pretty awesome. The Trello training that they did. I wasn't aware of that system. And now I'm like, okay, I got to get into that. So again, I put the link inside the chat here and inside the Facebook group. So if you guys need that link, make sure to grab on this before the price goes up. Let's go over to Rex. Rex, what question do you got, man?
Hey guys, Jay, I love all the analogies, man. One of my mentors said, you never really fully understand something until you can explain it to someone using only analogies. So I dig it, man. Keep it up. My question has to do with the remote clients you have. So, you know, when things are remote, you have a lot less control over systems and processes that, you know, typically you would have more control over if you yourself were shooting. So my question to you is, do you guys default to teaching the client to shoot versus going to find a local videographer? Because, you know, to be honest, I've had some nightmare situations and like shooting weddings and, you know, having someone who even has a portfolio and that they check all the boxes and then they deliver the footage to you and you're just like, I'm going to go jump off the building right now. So can you guys just give us some insight into, you know, some of the systems and processes that go with the remote work?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll touch in real quick on that. And if anyone else wants to say anything, please do. Number one thing and number one remote service that Alex Hermones is actually talking about this right now. When he first said it, we were like, dude, what are you talking about? He said, virtual studio setups are the hottest they've ever been right now. Everyone wants a virtual setup for their Zoom calls for this. We're like, dude, where are you finding these people? What are you talking about? Now I see what he's talking about. We have quite a bit of clients that we do virtual studio setups for. So that's the key word to answer. Depends on their budget. Most people, if they're working with you remote, unless they have a really big budget, that's where we try to bring in the other videographer. But most of the time they'll film themselves. And the way that we can help with that quality gap is to do a virtual studio setup where it's a 2-call process. We dive really deep. There's already bonuses in the course right now where we walk through the entire process with clients.
You can watch it now.
Yeah, you can watch it now. But essentially it's a two-step process. The first call, we check out their location. What are they working with? We see what kind of gear they have, lighting, audio, tripods. And then depending on what they have, we recommend them certain things to get from Amazon. In that Amazon, we already have the custom list inside as one of the bonus, but you can go through and select the lighting they need, affordable stuff, all of it. We try to come under $500 for the lights, the audio, everything, minus their camera. Most people just end up filming with their phones to start. And as they go, they can upgrade their camera, but start with your phone. And then the second part of the call is where we guide them. Okay, here's where you want to set up your key light in front of you, to the right, coming down. Your backlight needs to be perpendicular, right? Your camera is going to be set right here. We got the ambient light in the back. And that takes usually another 2 to 3 hours is what we've seen to kind of get that set up. But once we get it set up, first of all, they're so grateful because they're usually high ticket coaches. So they're doing Zoom calls a lot. So you've already automatically upgraded something that they use every single day outside of the videos they're going to film. So they're going to be super grateful for that. They potentially might get more clients because it's just an appearance thing, right? Why do you wear a suit to an interview? It's just an appearance thing, right? So having higher quality definitely helps. It doesn't make or break the deal, but it helps. Mm-hmm. And then from there, they can film the videos every single month using their new virtual studio. So answer your question. The one thing we try to push is the virtual studio setup. That all happens on month 1, as well as a scripting lesson. And then if they have a high budget, that you can tell, like we've worked with some entrepreneurs who like they barely want to be on the phone with us. Robert, experiences. I don't know, his name is Jorge. He's a great client, one of our highest clients right now, but he's so busy. So that's where we hired a videographer in his area. And then we just guided that videographer through the virtual studio. So that's another thing. Just because you hire a videographer doesn't mean you're hands off. If you care about your client, you should still be there and guide that videographer through the process.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay.
And Jay, doesn't one of our clients, Aaron and Sarit, didn't somebody from this group film for them,
Yeah.
Jay? You want to touch on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
just like
literally
sharing with them.
Absolutely. We use this group, guys, to leverage. So we made a post. You've probably seen like 2 of our posts in this group. Hey, we need a videographer in Florida is where it was. Had some comments, and we were able to hire someone from this group to go out there and film. And we made some freaking sick content. If I can just show you like 2 seconds worth. Here's one right now that shout out to Alex. He was the one who filmed it. And then, we do our subtitles. He sent it over to us. We got the nice cinematic lighting. She films with her iPhone as well sometimes, but this is way better. And it's probably going to perform a lot better now too. So leverage each other, guys. Leverage this community.
Talk about collaboration. That's what I like to see. That's which Alex helped you out with that.
I can't remember his last name, but
Alex Miner?
It wasn't Alex Miner. It was Alex Bailey. Alex Bailey.
Nice. Good stuff. Great teamwork. Great job. Okay, let's go to a question from Facebook. We actually got 2 people that asked questions. One is Philip in the paid group, and the other is from Mako. I believe I'm saying that. Almost the same question. So I'm going to read Philip's question. Who is your target market? Example, coaches, agents, consultants. What kind of impact can micro content have on other industries, such as manufacturing and auto? And then the question from Mako, kind of the same thing. He's asking, do you think this would be good for like bakeries and restaurants? What are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, I'll hit that real quick. So remember, with micro content, obviously there's people who will get the best results just by doing the exact same thing that you do. You can help out one client, you can help out a high ticket coach and make them 30 videos, or you can help out a barber and make them 30 videos, and the high ticket coach will make more money every single time. Even there's nothing else that, there's nothing else you could have controlled. It's just their pricing. It's the way they do things. So again, aim for high ticket, which it seems like you already talked about that. You brought them up. What kind of impact? All the impact. If you are a personality based brand, like we are, right? As video strategists, we're the face, right? If you're not like a super low ticket item and somebody needs to trust you to hand over your credit card, or, trust you to like pay you money, then micro content is good because they need to see more of you. Where the more content somebody sees, the more they feel like they know about you, the more they trust you already. And so when it's time to hop on that sales call, the difference is already there. But a couple other benefits as well that we have experienced and we've had our clients tell us is that their ads run better. Right? Whenever you are running these ads, people don't always click on the funnel. Sometimes they click on the profile. Sometimes they click on the Facebook page or the Instagram page. You guys ever seen like a really cool Instagram ad and then you click on the Instagram profile and it says this user isn't on Instagram? You're like, come on, like all that content helps. And so it's easier to retarget. The cost of acquisition goes down because organic goes up. And these are all things that just compound over time. So every single month that you continue doing micro content, their results get better. So whether they're doing other type of marketing, that is going to go down. The price of customer acquisition is going to go down. And if your client knows anything about their business, that they know ish about how costly that is to get a new customer. And then how much can you differentiate them, right? Like, I don't know. I think you said like a bakery shop or something like that. Like, are they like restaurants? How different are they from other restaurants? Do they have different things that make them unique? Do they target a specific, people? Do they have a specific benefit, and then create content around there? If you guys haven't had the workshop, haven't watched it yet, we actually talk about what it is that is considered valuable in terms of media consumption, which is, again, essentially education, motivation / inspiration, and entertainment. So it has to be one of those 3 for it to be considered valuable when it comes to content consumption. So if you can make content in one of those 3 areas specifically for that business, then micro content will work. If you can't think of differentiators because they're not different or they don't have special offers or anything like that, that might be a challenge. But if you can create content in one of those big threes, then you can create micro content for that client.
Great stuff. Yeah, when you talk about the micro content making the paid ads more effective and profitable, especially as time goes on, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, cool. 6 months from now, maybe I can increase my price of what I'm putting out there. So good stuff. Okay, let's go over to Ali. Ali, you're gonna have to, can you put your screen on? I don't want to get hacked again, so I got to make sure your screen is on so we can see you. There we go. Okay, Ali, what's your question?
Okay. I had a question regarding, I don't know if anybody else knows the answer to this, but original media. So I was noticing that there's a lot of talk about original audio versus trending. And sometimes even if you use original voiceovers over the trending music, how have you guys seen that affect your work? And then another shout out, I just done 4 videos and already got somebody asking how much to edit videos for them. So y'all, it just works.
Oh man, congrats, Ali. That's
Glad to
awesome.
hear.
Love to hear that. Yeah, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The trending audio.
Trending audios, that's right.
Trending audio versus original. So I've noticed that you guys have a mixture of both. I was just seeing, what did you guys notice that outperforms?
A great question. Okay, yes. So that's the answer is test both. Absolutely test both. We've kind of tried it where we do one original, one trending, one original, one trending, and they both do well. That's the truth. Now, here's some pros and cons to each. If you do the trending one, this is something that just newly came up, and you might have already seen this on Instagram. Sometimes the audios get removed for copyright reasons. And if that happens, it mutes your video. So that's a negative to using the trending audios. Is it could potentially get taken down. Now, the positive is the audios work as hashtags. So the same way people used to type in hashtag video marketing. Now, if you go to a trending audio, let's say there's a new Jack Harlow song that's trending or whatever, you click on it and you might see our videos because we use that as a background audio at a super low level, only 3%. So you can barely hear it in the background, but it helps as a SEO type thing. So long-term original, I think, is where things are going to move towards. Right now, though, it still works. So I'd recommend doing a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Awesome. Great question. Ali, did that thumbs up if that helped? I think that's a thumbs up. Okay, sweet. Let's go over to Lay. Lay, what's your question?
Real quick question here. It has to do with the aspect ratio that you guys are using. Are you doing strictly vertical? I know it depends on our clients, and I know that their needs vary between the horizontal, the vertical, square, 4x3. What are you finding is the most predominant, and what are you focusing on when you're selling?
I'll touch on that. Vertical, absolutely. It's vertical. If you can film everything in vertical, please do that. If for whatever reason they need a horizontal version, then just keep the framing in mind, back up far enough to where when you crop in on vertical, it doesn't look too punched into their face or anything. So, but absolutely, if you can just film vertical, especially if you're selling micro content that you know is going to go on TikTok, on Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, don't even worry about a horizontal version. Just film it vertical.
Great, thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, let's go to a question from Facebook. Jesus is asking, has anyone asked how to price micro content per month? I think that we went over this a little bit during the workshop, but can you guys touch on this real quick?
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one real quick just because it's sales related. $3,000 a month is our minimum, 30 reels per month. So they get 1 a day. That's our base package, which is just editing. We're still experimenting with this. So this is, full transparency. You guys get the ins and outs of our business as we're testing things. That's just been the main one we've sold. We also, as of 2 months ago, started incorporating social media management into our offer. And we've tested it to charging an extra $1,500. So it brings it up to $4,500 a month to post everything and create the 30 reels that we edit, right? So edit and post. Some clients kind of give in, some clients give out. We've done the 3,000 a month for editing and posting, no filming. And we've seen that still, it might be a little bit too much work. So it's a variation. I'd say if you can get the base package, $3,000 a month just for editing, and make it a point that you charge more to post the content. But if whatever reason, the only thing that's holding them back is they want, they have a $3,000 budget and they want you to post the content. If it's your first deal, just do it. It's going to help, and it's going to become easier month after month. So that's the one big thing that I want to, really share to you guys with these retainer clients. We have some good experience now. The first month is always the hardest. The first month is where you should over deliver the most, do everything, virtual studio setups. You're creating templates for them. You're teaching them how to script. You're doing everything. But then month 2 through 11/24, hopefully you keep them for a year or two, becomes so much easier, so much more streamlined. And that's where you actually profit the most. So just keep that in mind. The first month's always the hardest. You're doing the most amount of work. You might ask yourself, damn, is this really worth 3,000? But trust me, month 2, month 3, month 4, you're like, wow, this is really worth 3,000, right? So that's what I wanted to throw out there. And then our highest package is $7,200 a month, which we're doing the 90 reels for. So I believe that drops it down to $70 or $80 a reel. I can't remember exactly, but
Editing
Robert,
only.
Yeah,
No
Robert
shooting.
might know that.
Jay,
No shooting.
your minimum package, the $3,000 is, do you have a minimum month requirement as well? Did I miss that?
We don't. So that's interesting. And people have told us you should, you shouldn't. I believe it's a selling point for us. And I also like to keep the relationship open, because especially like we said, we're really testing this stuff out. There wasn't anyone that told us, hey guys, you should charge 3,000 a month for this, this, and that. We're testing this out. So one thing we want to make sure is we never get taken advantage of by a client either, which we have. So we like to keep the doors open, because we only want clients to work with us if they want to work with us. And we only want to work with them if we want to work with them. So there's a chance that 3 months down the road, we have $1 million, $100 million Hamonzi says, hey guys, I want to hire you. I've seen your content and I want to pay $300 a reel because I just got that much money. And we're like, okay, let's take him on. And we may have to let go of, some of the people we weren't charging as much. So we like to keep those doors open both ways and make sure that it's always a win-win relationship. I don't know if anyone else out there is married. We're young guys and we're all about marriage. Marriage is an amazing thing. I think sometimes when you rush into marriage, though, things can get a little out of control, right? So it's always good to date at the beginning. In my opinion, you date a little bit, you see if you even like each other, right? Before you tie in that 2-year contract, 3-year contract, because who knows, maybe 6 months after the honeymoon phase, you're like, oh, wow, what did I get myself into? Not what did the client get themselves into? You might be surprised. You're the one on the other end. You're like, dude, I don't even want to finish this contract anymore. So keep those things in mind if you choose one or the other. There's also plenty of cons to not doing a contract. They can drop you out of nowhere. You got to start all over. But hopefully if you're doing the things that we're teaching you, you always have an influx of leads coming in. And you're the one who's in the position of options. That's where you want to be. You want to be the person who has the options to take on clients or let them go. And by doing that, you also have to be free with letting them have options as well. So when you know that you're the most valuable person and you're going to provide them with, the best prices, the best results, the best everything, it at least for us, it makes it easy to keep that door open. We don't feel like we have to tie them on a contract, because we only want them to work with us if they want to. And that way we never have those diva clients that are like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and I'm paying you this and this and that. That only happens when they feel like they're stuck, when they feel like they're stuck. But if they feel like they're open, you'd be surprised how much more appreciative they are of the services as well.
Good stuff. My biggest takeaway there is you guys got a $3,000 minimum. I love that. You guys if you want to work with me, it's going to cost $3,000. If you don't have $3,000 to do it, let me direct you somewhere else. And they're setting their minimums and people are respecting their minimums, which is an awesome feeling. I know. Okay. Let's go to a question from Facebook. Austin Balderas has a question about different types of videos. And he's actually asking, in the course, do you have like a list of different type of videos or ideas that you can create?
Yeah. Yes. So in the course, we do go over, and I think so before I get into that, real quick, in the course currently right now, there is already a document. As I said earlier, I have some history in real estate, and we have, real estate on retainer, real estate agent on retainer. A lot of you guys are closing deals with real estate. So we actually have a document with 100+ real estate micro content ideas. So if you sign a client, you already have 3 months worth of ideas that you can do to knock it out. But I think bigger than me telling you what type of ideas you should make, or you telling your client what type of ideas you should make, I think the biggest value that you can offer is helping them understand what they can do. And that's exactly what that is covered in the course. We did go over that in the workshop, and in the course as well is I go over the exact same presentation that I use to teach clients how to come up with ideas, and like a breakdown. So I'll literally tell you, hey, video strategist, this is why I use these words. This is why I put the mindset section first. This is why I teach them this before I teach them this. These are the words that I use, and these are the type of reactions that you normally get. Because the biggest thing is not telling them you should do this, 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 and that, because that's what everybody else is doing. The biggest thing is, what are you trying to do? Okay, I think this is the direction. They're like, I'm on the same page with you. I'm on the exact same, like, I see that. Now I have all these ideas that I want to do, but I just want to run. And then instead of you being the one that tells them, and then they're the ones that approve, you teach them. They come up with all these ideas, and you're the one that approves and says that is a good idea or that is not a good idea. That is valuable. That is not valuable. And that is much more leveraged on your end than telling them what to do, is coaching them on how to get there. And then you just have the most leverage. And by having the most leverage, you make the most money. And you're also, your status is higher in front of your client's eyes. They value you more.
Great stuff. Okay, cool. Austin, I hope that answers your question. We're going to go to Derek here in a second. Also, guys, we're going to announce a spiff, right? Rob, Jay, I think we're going to do that tonight. We'll get back to that in a little bit. So there's going to be some giveaways for the people who decide to purchase the micro content mastery. We're going to have some gift cards, some individual coaching sessions on the line. So again, the link is in the chat here in the Zoom room. The link is in the Facebook pages as well. So we'll be announcing that here in just a little bit. But Derek, what question do you got, brother?
Okay, so you guys make a piece of content and it's all ready to go out. Do you post on the same platform at the same time, the same piece of content? Or do you, if you did like 5 pieces of content, do you do like one original, like one would be on TikTok, 2 would be on Facebook, so that it's a different piece hitting each platform? And then maybe 3 days later or 2 days later, whatever, the next piece hits? Or do you just do them all at the exact same time across the platforms?
Great question. I think we do both, to be honest. Some clients don't care. We have some clients that don't mind if we post it everywhere. So we just do that, especially like our higher volume clients. But we have some clients that specifically have asked us, hey, can you not post the same one everywhere? So in that we've separated it and we track it all through Trello.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed like a difference as far as like results go, or not really?
No. And the biggest reason is people love their social media platforms. Those who love sticking on TikTok, they're going to stick on TikTok. Those who love Instagram. So your job is just to get it out there, and the algorithm and all the pre-production that you did, all the planning does the rest of the work for you.
Cool. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Guys, if you haven't watched the lesson that they gave on Trello, it's in the course, but these guys made it free for everybody. I thought that it was such an amazing training on how to manage the entire production workflow. Go watch that. I posted it in the Real Deal Facebook group. You can watch it. It's like 20 minutes. Trello, next level. I know that's they just mentioned it. So go back and watch that. It was really, really good training. Okay, let's go over to Alex. Alex, what question you got?
All right. So one thing I was wondering, and my question that I've been waiting to ask has changed as y'all have been dropping these gems. So when you first onboard the client, do y'all have any extra charges for doing the virtual studio setup, for doing the scripting training, all those things?
Yes. Go ahead. Touch on that, Jay. I saw you were going.
Real briefly, yes, no, it just depends. Always we make it clear that it is an upcharge. So for the virtual studio setup, we say it's $750, right? So we tell them it costs this. The scripting lessons, usually, $200. We tell them what it costs, but then we include it all as, if you choose to work with us and you have these long-term goals, Mrs. Jones, right? we want to do these things for you to get you set up for success. So that's how we phrase it. Like we're giving it to them, but we make it clear that we do normally charge for that service. So it is an optional thing. You can charge for it, but the way we see it, man, it's all in the long term. We'd rather get our clients super, super happy that first month, do $6,000 worth of work and only get paid $3,000 that first month to be able to keep them for the remaining 11, 12 months.
I got you. I see the logic in that. I've done things like that before.
All right, Alex, does that answer your question, brother?
Yes, it did. They just keep dropping the gems, man.
Drop it like it's hot. Let's go. Okay, let's go over to Sandra. Sandra, what's your question?
Hi, I just had a question with regards to the production value. I think that this actually was a question that was asked in the Facebook group from someone, and I don't remember the name, but I thought it was quite relevant. And that is, are you guys deliberately trying to create videos that kind of like look like they're from your cell phone and iPhones, or do you recommend that you kind of, move up the production value of your videos so that they look a little bit more like polished, or does it really depend on the client?
Yep. So obviously there's a fine line to where you can overdo it. There was a perfect example at the beginning of this call. But there's a certain level of production that people do see value in. And that's essentially just having like really good lighting. Just having really good lighting, really good audio, and the video is good. It doesn't have to be, all this bokeh in the background, but if the lighting is decent and the audio is good, then the edit is like the next thing, right? Because it has sound effects, it has different colors for different psychological reasons, emojis, tone, all those different types of things. But we've found that it's really easy to just set up, some type of like 3-point, lighting for clients, whether it was virtually or whether you're doing it right then and there. Don't overdo it. And, you don't have to like purposely say, let's make this look like a TikToker made it. You're a business owner. We want to make this professional. And every single video represents your brand. So, if they have a certain brand color, we'll pop open those lights. If we have a TV with a logo in the background, we can do things like that. But yeah, kind of, studio setup, some good lighting. You don't have to overdo it. But we have yet to find any data on our end or our client's end where it suggests the lower the quality, production quality, the better the results. We haven't been able to find a correlation there.
And just to expand on that question, with regards to your setup for the recording, if you're doing it yourself, do you recommend like that we use like baked in like profiles and stuff like that, just to kind of help speed up the editing process?
I'm not sure we understand. Can you repeat that? What do you mean baked in?
Yeah,
process?
like the baked in color profiles and all that sorts, like like rather than using like S-Log or whatever,
Oh, yes. The better straight out of camera we can get it as close to real life, the better. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Great question. Good stuff. Okay. Camilo's got a baby in his hand and the baby's not crying right now. So let's go over to Camilo before baby gets hungry.
I have 2 questions about posting. Number 1 is, are you posting for all of your clients? And number 2 is how do you go about it if you can only manage up to 5 Instagram accounts on a cell phone, and I believe it's 3 on TikTok?
Great question. Go ahead, Andrew. Pull them out.
Nice. I can take this one. So, pull them out. Rob's got it on him. So you got to do the old ways of having multiple phones for the job. You know how we do. So Rob, he's got his extra one right here. Nice. Yep, got him right there. And then the second part, Camilo. So we don't post for all of our clients, but figuring out that perfect medium with your client of, hey, is this something that you want to do? Is this something that you'd like us to handle for you? And then figuring out that sweet spot of just fully diagnosing their needs, and then seeing how we as the experts, as the video strategists, can help fulfill that. So no, we don't post for all of our clients. We do for a majority of them. And then when we do start running over, we have multiple phones to fit the multiple accounts. And yet you hit it right on the number, just so everyone else knows. TikTok, a max of 3 per one phone. And then Instagram is a max of 5 per one phone. So after that, things start getting really, really messy.
Cool. One follow-up question, and this was about, have you noticed for some of the clients that you guys are not posting, let's say you produce 15, 30 pieces of content, and then you send those videos to the client and they're not posting those videos?
Nice. Yeah. So I have one client in particular that it's an interesting relationship with the posting. Maybe the guys also could chime in on this. When we're not actually doing the posting ourselves, we still find ourselves doing a little bit of like consulting work and like encouraging them on a weekly basis or on some type of communication level with them. Hey, like we got to get these certain amount of videos out next week. We have them all lined up ready to go in this folder. So you can post one a day from this folder. And it's more of like a consulting rather than like a whole done for you model. But does anybody else want to chime in on that part?
Yeah. Just to add to that, it really kind of comes into offer. You know, micro content is the product that we're selling, but it serves multiple purposes and it solves multiple problems. And so if posting the content is the one thing that is stopping your clients from getting results, maybe add that to your plate. Because they keep you longer, right? Like just a question that I want everybody to think about is how much more money would you make if you never lost any clients? Like real talk, like how much more money would you make if you never lost any clients? If every client that you kept, they just kept paying you. And so would you post for the client in order to keep that 3K, 4K coming every single month? Probably. And then the more you do that, and that's where we find ourselves, the more you build up all this revenue that you can actually have free cash flow that you can say, okay, we're going to hire one guy and his or gal, and their entire job is going to be posting on social media or whatever, right? But that's how you kind of build up that big recurring revenue. And it depends, you know, but what I will say is the biggest thing that you can do as a video strategist to guarantee your client getting results, if you're making them micro content, is if you inherit the responsibility of doing this, whether you do it yourself or you do it, or you hire somebody else to do it, or you white label another social media marketing company or something like that. The best thing that you can do to guarantee client results is not just make bomb videos, have a great pre-production process, but it's like finishing from beginning to end, crossing the finish line and inheriting the responsibility of posting. Your clients will keep you longer if you do that.
Rob, do you have recommendations for iPhones they can get that are affordable? What were the two that?
Yeah. Yep. So I literally, we closed like 3 clients in like 1 week, and we had to start posting for them like really, really shortly after that. And so I straight up went to the Apple store and I was like, guys, like, what is the cheapest, newest phone that you can give me, you know, that I can make sure I have Apple Care and all that other type of stuff. And so there's this one here. It's kind of remnant to like the old iPod Touch. I used to have one, so it still has a home button, but it has the exact same chip, bionic chip, as like the 13 Pro Maxes. It's called the iPhone SE. It's really simple. It's really good. You can find it at any Apple store. Like today, you close a client today, you need to start posting tomorrow. Go to the Apple store, get the SE. Even though I got like the upgraded storage and like Apple Care and all that type of stuff, you know, it was like, you know, $500-600, something like that. Totally worth it if a client is paying you multi-thousands month after month after month. And guess what? If the client stops, then you can like put another client in this phone, right? That's kind of a thing that it's not just, you know, as you keep them, you scale, but, you know, if you let clients go, you can kind of keep fulfilling them in. And then one of the guys at Apple, really, really cool, really smart of him. He told me, he's like, if you have the time, so like, let's just say you close a new client, but you don't have to start posting for them for another 2 weeks. He's like, I would buy these phones from Amazon. If you look up like iPhone XR or something like that, you'll find them on Amazon. You'll get it in 2-3 days. You know, you can return them if it doesn't work. But all you need is the device, just, you know, with a chip new enough that you know it's going to last you a couple years. I don't even have service on this. Jay's second phone, he doesn't have service on it. We just hook up to Wi-Fi or data if we're on the go and we need to. And the sole purpose of this is to help me get client results by making sure that I post the stuff on time. I have the Trello app on here. So all I do is I get on Trello. What do I got to do today? Oh, this. Okay, cool. Do it. Copy, paste, post. And then, you know, that's what these phones are good for.
Was there another one, Rob, you said was more affordable than that one, or no? I forgot. Didn't you say he recommended, or was it the SE?
The XR. It was the XR on Amazon, buying them used.
Which was like what, $200-300.
It was like
something that.
$200-300. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
really affordable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can manage three clients with a $300 phone to post. Like, yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, real quick, guys. I want to give you guys a heads up. Dustin Dow, Scott Rippey, Chris Green, and Jake Hepting all just hopped in.
What's up, fellas?
Micro Content Mastery. These are some heavy hitters.
Oh, right on. Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah. So Scott's been with us forever. He's got a whole bunch of clients. He's good to go, but he's still learning. Jake Hepting had the record deal for a while of $109,000. He's still learning, so he hopped in. So welcome, guys, to the Micro Content Mastery. It's going to be exciting. Let's go over to Dan.
Welcome, Danny.
What's your question, brother?
And I'm trying to chime in on a question that Lay had with regard to DSLR and cameras. And I know in your modules you have best shoots to do portrait shots. And usually that is with the phone, the iPhone or Android phone. But you also mentioned in your modules that if they don't have the phone, then do DSLR. Is there something in the modules that also display how to make your SLR portrait as opposed to shooting landscape? Or is that come in the editing piece?
Great question. We'll definitely touch on that in the editing piece, I assume, Dan. But let me ask you, what are you using to edit? Are you using Adobe Premiere Pro?
Premiere Pro, yes.
Premiere Pro. Okay, great. Absolutely. It's as simple as, I wonder if I could share my screen for 2 seconds. I just want to show you how simple this is, man. On Premiere Pro, you go to File, New, Sequence, and then you go to your settings right here, and you just flop these, because the normal one is 1920 by 1080. You just flop that to 1080 by 1920. Name it whatever you want to name it, and now you have a vertical timeline. You guys see that right there? Everyone could see that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then from there, all you do is you just drag and drop your video. So for example, if you have a horizontal video, then you would just, zoom in to get it to be vertical like that, kind of adjust it.
Hey, you are in the team.
Now we got a video, or if it was already filmed, see if I could find one. It was already filmed horizontal, then all you do would be here. Actually, I'll just do this. When you pop it in, it'll be sideways. So you just change your rotation right here to 90, and then boom, you just flip it like that. So it's that simple, super quick. Get right into it. I hope that helped not just you, Dan, but anyone else out there who wanted to know how to do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good stuff. Yes.
Awesome.
Hey, I had seen a question earlier too about gimbals, if they had the option to put vertically, just shooting like that. And the DJI RS2 has an attachment that you can balance vertically. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but if you got to be on the move, the RS2 and the newer one does have that capability. All right, Rex, Damien, you guys have already asked a question, so we're going to try to get back to you guys, but I want to try to get through everybody that has one. So let's go over to Alan. Alan, what's your question?
It's cracking. Awesome people. Hey, I'm late, but I'm here. I want to hear it. I love what y'all
Happy to
doing.
hear it.
Yes, sir. Here's a question I want to ask in regards to a client that I'm working with right now, content I'm making for Joel, Night Owl Group, amazing stuff. I wanted to ask you guys, how ahead of the gun do you like to have your content prepared before you're posting your content for your clients?
Great question.
Wants to answer it? Oh, go ahead.
Robert, you want to piece, with having with managing the biggest deliverable client?
Yep. So that's so what you're asking, Alan, is how do we prepare the content to be posted on their social media? Is that right?
Or how much of a gap, like how much free space do you give yourself?
Exactly.
Oh, got you. Yeah. So
how long is that Hail Mary before you're ready to catch it?
Yeah. So I usually like to have anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks worth of content ahead of time, ready to go in the Trello with the captions. And what I like to do is also draft about 3 to 5 days worth of content on my phone. And remember, this is a pro tip as well, is to don't delete the videos, because if you delete them, they're going to go off the draft. So you got to keep the videos in your phone. So, that way they're still saved and they're still drafted when you're ready to post them. And that's why we recommend getting a different phone, a separate phone. I haven't done that yet. So I've been posting all the content straight from my phone. So it's literally all of my clients' content, all of our clients' content is all in here.
But it's one client. You're managing one monster client, but just one client. So, you can do that on one phone.
Nerd.
But yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. That's what we all try to. That's a great practice.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that, y'all. That's dope.
Awesome. Let's do this. Rob, do me a favor. Check your chat message here. I sent you something. Let's go over to Jared Rains. Jared, what question you got?
Hey, thanks, David. I'm curious. I saw this commentary in one of the Facebook groups. I believe, David, you actually posted it in full time. How do you guys go about addressing maybe, I guess, a client concern and maybe re-emphasizing the value if a client starts to, I guess, maybe consider shooting videos in-house versus hiring out a production team such as yourself?
Yeah, great question. Two answers to that. One, when we were just doing like fully done for you services, that of course was a concern. Now we actually would love to push for that. Like, hey, hire an in-house videographer you could hire at affordable rate per hour, send us the footage, we edit, we post it, because your videographer is not going to be able to edit 30 videos and film and do it for as low as we're doing it. And you know what I'm saying? Because of the systems we have in place that we built out. So the short answer is we actually you should have an in-house videographer. That's going to be the most affordable for you if you don't want to film it yourself. And then just send us the content and edit it. And some of our clients do have videographers, and then they send us the content to edit it for them.
Okay. I guess my follow-up to that would be, have you ever had anyone that kind of combats with maybe they have an in-house editor as well? It sounds like you actually push for that. So
yeah, great question. I mean, if they have an in-house editor, man, like the truth is just like, well, I would ask them two questions. One, well, what do you like about your in-house editor? What do you see can be improved? If they're like, man, this guy is awesome, I love him, be like, okay, we're just not a good fit. Like, you should keep them. It's like you're trying to go out with a girl. Hey, I have a boyfriend. Okay, are you happy with your boyfriend? Sounds good. Keep your boyfriend. Like, there's plenty more fish in the sea. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
And just to add to that as well, is we're working with a client right now who does have an in-house editor, but they're not able to keep up with the volume that we're producing for him. So we also edit for him as well. And that's kind of where that relationship was born.
And the last little piece, now that I remember, I'll add to that, because this is a quick story. One of the biggest clients we have right now, when we got on the initial sales call, he lives in California, and that was actually his objection towards us. At the end of the call, he was like, look, guys, content's good, whatever. I just need to find someone in my area. I want to have someone local in-house. And what we did, we can't guarantee this works every time, but what we did is we proved to him that we already can edit the exact content that he wanted with the exact style, everything, and sent 3 videos for him for free. Literally the day after he told us he wanted someone in-house. He made a post on an Instagram looking for someone. And the reason he chose to go with us, he ended up hiring us. The reason is because you can hire someone in-house, but just be aware there's a whole learning curve that goes with it, right? There's a whole everything, revisions, all those things. So if they have time on their hands, you should hire someone like that. Most of the people that we work with don't have much time on their hands. So they just want to know that it's getting done by a professional right the first time and just move on from there. They're not trying to train videographers or train their editors. They just rather have someone like you manage that entire system for them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Great stuff. Couple questions from Facebook. I'm kind of getting behind on Facebook because the questions are piling up there. But Eric Mendoza is asking, what's the filming process like? Example, do you set up a shoot day with a shot list in mind? How many days a month do you film for one client in order to get all the micro videos you want, or do you knock it all out in one day?
Great question. So I can speak on this for our local clients. Your pre-production process, I'll keep saying this again, I saw this quote and I loved it. Every single battle is won before it is fought. Same exact thing with every single shoot. Like, do you already have it planned, or are you pulling up there, Starbucks coffee in hand? You have no idea what's going on. You're late, client's pissed, and now you're supposed to shoot videos under those circumstances. So show up early, have the plan already ahead of time. So like the night before, I'm not trying to go into woo or manifestation or anything like that. But like, realistically, something I do is I plan everything from my entire head. I'm like, this is kind of how I wanted to go at the beginning. This is how I wanted to go in the middle. And this is how I wanted to go in the end. And truly what it is you just having a list. Whether your client did majority of the work or you did a majority of the work, it doesn't matter. The list must be completed before you can shoot. And so once you have your list completed, you show up to the shoot. And whether it's a one location or multiple location, within like a space, like I'll give you an example. And this is actually something that's already in the program. We documented how we did 27 micro content videos for our client, real estate agent client, in less than 2 hours. It was less than 2 hours, probably closer between 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I just had the list. Now, this was the second time we shot. So guess what? She already kind of knew a little bit about how we did it. But, we didn't even have scripts ready for that one, just because I knew that, she was very good about performing on camera. So all I did was had the topics, and then I had the hooks, which the hooks, it's like really, really easy. Once you kind of know how to write a hook, which in the course, we go over exactly how to write hooks. And even in the workshop, if you walk through the workshop, you'll know how to write hooks. You help them out with the hook, you kind of tell them where you want the video to go. And then they just kind of go off with it, and then you're done. And then you move on to the next one. So for the production process, if you have your list, again, whether the client did a lot of the work or you did a lot of the work, you still have to approve it. Have the list ready. If not, we don't shoot without the list, because it's like we're setting ourselves up for failure. You're setting me up to fail and set bad expectations. And Mr. or Mrs. Jones, you're not going to do well yourself today. So make sure that the list is complete, the pre-production list, before you shoot. So that's kind of how we go about that. And then we like to do everything in one day, if not like more. Like if we can get 45 days worth of content in one day, then we'll do that. But normally what we like to do is get a whole month's worth of content in one day.
Nice. Rob, can you share with us in depth, like what's included in that list? What are some of those things outside of the hook? What's included in that list?
In the list of
the pre-production.
Oh, yes. So it's just like so the pre-production list is number one, having like the hooks ready for the clients. Number two, having the topics ready, and like the topics must have already been approved through the process of like, is this valuable? Meaning, is this educational? Is this motivational? Is this inspirational? Or is this entertaining? And if it's not either of those things, then don't make the video. But if it's one of those three things, then great. And then you make sure that if there are scripts, that the client like reviews the scripts, because the more that they review it, not the more they're going to make changes, but the better they're going to speak on camera. And then, I mean, really, that's it. Like out of everything that we do, just super realistically speaking, the shooting process, as much as it is very, very important, it probably has like the least amount of like SOPs, because if you already have your plan, all you got to do is go there and execute. It's like building something. If you already have your instructions, then all you got to go do is go build the thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it, because everything else happens. Everything else is on our board. So everything else happens after that, meaning we got to organize the content. We got to upload it to the editors. We got to make sure that the revisions are all set. All of that is things on us. The client, on their hand, all they see is, oh, okay, I gave you money. Oh, wow, you guys are giving me great customer service up until we're doing our coaching calls. Man, these coaching calls were so valuable. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Time to go to the shoot. You do the shoot. And then that is it. And then all the client sees is notifications. Somebody liked your video. Somebody DM'd you. Somebody commented. All they get is notifications, and that's it. So that's kind of like, the process of how we go about that.
Okay, awesome. Good stuff. Let's take this time to talk about the spiff. And then we have a few more questions from Facebook. We got a few more questions from the Zoom, but I do want to put this out here because it's super valuable for whoever decides to join the micro content mastery program. So for those of you guys who are part of the real deal who've been here for a while, we do things called spiffs, which are just contests and giveaways. A lot of times we'll do like gift cards to B&H or, a piece of camera gear or something to that effect. So we are going to be running a spiff inside the micro content mastery. Whoever ends up purchasing, one of the prizes that I'm going to put up is a $500 gift card to B&H. So that'll be up there. And then Robert, you guys were talking about doing some individual coaching sessions. Can you give us an insight on kind of what you guys want to throw out there for the spiff?
Yeah, 100%. So, obviously we're coming out with, the program, and in the program is going to be everything step by step. But, videographers, we're video strategists, we're entrepreneurs, and we may have different sticking points, and maybe we need different things to kind of get us off the edge and get us started. So one of the packages that one of the spiffs that we were going to put out is, some one-on-one coaching, essentially, a session of two. We get together, we kind of understand your goals. We give you some things as far as where we think, what you might want to do to give it a shot. And then we don't just kind of send you off, but we review it. The same thing how we would treat a client. We coach you, we teach you, but then we hold you accountable and we double check to make sure that you hit all of your goals. So that's going to be, one is a set of 2 calls with a brand with video member of your choosing. So depending on maybe, what sticking point you have, you can do that. More than likely we might all be together and things like that. But the second one will be the coaching as well. But we're actually going to help you make, if you're new to making micro content, we're going to help you make your first batch of 6 micro content videos. And not only that, we're going to create the crispy edits for you. So if you give it to us, we'll help you. We have all these video ideas that already gave us clients. We'll help you write these scripts. Obviously you can shoot it. We can be on Zoom with you if you want. We'll hang out. We like hanging out. And then you hand it over to us, and our team takes care of the rest, and we give it back to you. And you have something that you're well on your way to get your next client. So we definitely wanted to include the 3 prizes. David, thank you so much for the gift card. And then, we're going to offer some one-on-one coaching, help you guys get through some of those sticking points. And then number 3 is we're going to help you with that coaching, but we're also going to help you actually pump out micro content, because if there's one thing that you can do to outside of getting into the program that will really skyrocket your results is make a batch of micro content the right way, right? Because not all practice, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? So that's what we're going to make sure that this batch that we do together is going to be on point. And you can expect some good results from that.
That's what's up. Extra crispy. I love it. Okay. So, and then we'll put out the details of the spiff after the deadline ends, after the 6 days from now, or whenever the pre-sale ends. So we'll put out some more information, but I think that's awesome. Like extra crispy edits. That's going to be cool. Okay. There was another question that kind of related to somewhat the same answer that you guys are talking about. So Mario is asking that you guys mentioned there are 3 types of videos that you use. What percentage of each type of video do you suggest? One over the other or equal?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So we've had clients ask us the same thing, and this is exactly what we tell them. So we say, we know that these are the things that work, right? But as you put this content out, every single, every strategy still gets catered towards you a little bit. And so that means maybe the how-to content does really, really well for you, or maybe this certain type of subject does awesome. So let's make thought reversal style content. Let's make personal belief style content, and let's make more education content revolving around this one thing. Again, micro content is a long-term play. It gets amazing results, and you compound results month over month over month. But on top of that, you get a ton of data. So you move forward with leaving nothing behind on the table, right? You're putting out valuable content, but as you're putting it out, you're not just doing it blindly. You are able to see what works. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pivot. And again, that's the power of having a retainer, because you've been able to see that for 3 months. On month 4, you're like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I want to pivot. I want us to create more content this way. And these are the reasons why. And they're going to say, oh my goodness, thank you so much for looking out for me. Thank you for not just wanting to make videos that you want to make. I am happy to make more videos around this subject. And then you make them, and then the clients get better results. So make the 3, because that way you're putting your best foot forward and you're leaving nothing behind on the table. But it's okay to adjust. If anything, it's encouraged to adjust and pivot as you keep going, because nothing is stationary.
Okay, awesome. I'm surprised this question hasn't come up till now, but lead generation. How are you guys generating leads? This is coming from Chris Nigel on the Facebook group. So how are you generating leads? And then are you doing any sort of cold outreach through Instagram, DMs, PMs, all that stuff? How are you guys getting leads and sales?
Yeah. So great question. So it wasn't part of the presentation, but we ended up going through it. So in the workshop, if you were to go back to that workshop, you actually see Jay saying the script that we use for our outreach. And I guess what we like to call it is if you're starting and you're just trying to get your first or second, micro content retainer, it's a hybrid version of both. It's a leveraged outreach. So you're not, I hate cold outreach. Okay. I absolutely hate it. I hate getting it. I tried sending it. My coach told us a while back to do it. We tried it. It sucked, right? I'm not a cold outreach guy, so I can't recommend that. I can't speak on that. But there is strategic outreach that you can do, which is like placing yourself in the highest status position possible, placing yourself in a position where people will reach out to you, and then actively pursuing different conversations. So the way we do that, and the way you can start today, is Facebook and LinkedIn. The reason being is because you are in control of who you are connected with. If you're doing TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, you cannot like control who follows you. You can't. The only way you can do that is by putting out more content and just winning through volume. And as you scale, that's where you should be. That's where we're at right now, where our time and our systems help us to create more volume and win that way. But when we first just started, what we did was create less volume, but spend more time doing outreach through Facebook and through LinkedIn. And we did strategic outreach where we wouldn't do anything salesy, anything pitchy. We just wanted to get the conversation started. We just wanted to be in this person's world. They would know more about our world. And through the algorithm, right? Again, it's just about friending the algorithm. You can hate it or you can get on it, right? You can leverage it or you can get left behind. And because the algorithm saw that we were conversating back and forth, again, no pitching, no sales, we actually have screenshots of this stuff where you're just having regular conversations. Then they see a video of yours that has a call to action, that has value in it. They see it and then they reach out. They're like, oh my goodness, I saw your video. How much for this? Or can we get on the phone? Can we do this? And so that is the approach. It's very hybrid. You are leveraging your micro content, but you are strategically outreaching to the people that you want to do. And the platforms that we have found that work best for this is Facebook and LinkedIn. I, personally, I'm a big fan of Facebook. We've closed multiple six figures just on using a Facebook profile and video content. So you can't lose using Facebook, but I know LinkedIn is a winner as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let's go back to the Zoom room. Rex got your hand up. What's your question, Rex? Maybe not.
Hey guys.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, so right now, my main client, he's a dentist and he's badass surgeon. We've been shooting like all these cool surgical videos and making little bits of content for that. When it comes to like editing, shooting, and scripting, and order from least time to most time, for me, it's been shooting, editing, and scripting. Scripting is like by far and away the longest part for me. And I think it's just because his topic is so technical. So for our first online course, we went pure teleprompter, included every nitty gritty detail. He read the whole thing. For reasons I'm sure you guys could probably guess, for our second course, we went no teleprompter. We just went, all right, this is the topic of this video. This is like one sentence overall, what we're going to try to hit on this video. And the downsides of that has been a lot of important details get missed. So I'm just wondering, can you guys share a little bit of your like, processes and scripting, and, maybe we can all pull from how you guys do it.
Yeah. Great question, Rex. I can definitely speak on this because I have done a full done for you service for a dentist where I've actually scripted their videos. I got on a call. So I think I have some insights to share, but I really want to make sure I understand your question. Are you talking about scripting micro content or course videos, YouTube videos, other things? What are you specifically asking about scripting micro content right now?
Yeah, I mean, unless you guys have a different process for micro content, and I just assumed it was the same process, but
it is a different process. But what you need, and we're probably going to come out with some ancillary trainings about that stuff. We have structures. I'm a huge fan of scripting. I probably have like hundreds of maybe thousands of scripts under my belt at this point. I don't like doing it, but I've become competent in it, so I'm going to continue doing it. The easiest thing that has allowed me to be good at scripting, and also, I know that some of you were speaking on the training that was just released on how to do a virtual studio setup and how to do all this for your client. So that same day, we just closed this deal like last week, so the training is fresh and it's new. The same day, Jay passed out the call to me so I could do the pre-production process. I recorded the entire thing. This will be in the program. This client is in the transportation, logistics, and manufacturing industry. Brother, I can't even say that straight 3 times fast, right? I know nothing about this industry. However, we came out with some banger scripts because he knows about his industry and I know how to get him into structures. Scripts are nothing more than structures. It's a puzzle, and each puzzle, when you really break it down, is just a certain number of sentences structured in a certain type of way. And so when you can look at a script that way, which say this has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end, it should consist of this length, this length, this length, then you can help just funnel people's informations, their very own words. If you're in the program already, it's a training that's going to be dropped really, really soon. If not, you might want to go check it out. But I literally know nothing about this industry, and we were able to come out with some great scripts. And so the way that we do that is by first coaching them on how to come up with a script and telling them about the parts that are involved in the script, and which, you know, if it's micro content, it's the easiest. Micro content is the easiest thing to script. You just have a hook, and then you have the value, and then you have a call to action. Very, very easy. And then especially when you operate under time constraints. So you're telling them, look, this is supposed to be 15 to 30 seconds. And so then you actually have like a script timer, and you're like, this is too long. How do we make this shorter? And you actually work through with the client. So you can actually see me doing that live inside of the training. But what instead of coming up with scripts and trying to get really good at scripts, what I would encourage you to do is get really good at the system of just understanding a script. And if you can, and then how to come up with these ideas, because it can be time consuming, but you know, if you know what all of this consists of, it's like making a video. Like if I was to ask you, you know, make a B-roll video of a construction company and then make a B-roll video of a dentist company, it's the same thing. You get the parallax shots, you get the 50, you get the wide, it's the same exact thing. And so trying to look at a script the same way that you would look at making a B-roll video or any other type of video, if you can try to make the script like that same structure, then you can fill in whatever it is that you want through it. So just get good at the system, get good at making hooks, understand how to deliver a tip or value in a really short amount of time. And then like, what are you trying to get people to do? How to make a call to action. So hook, 1 to 2 sentences. It could be a qualifying question or a bold statement. The recipe and the value is just literally a recipe and the value. You give the actual value. And then the call to action is an if then statement. If you are under this type of criteria of people, then this is the type of action that I want you to take. And so you literally just take their words and then you just funnel them through this system, and out comes out a script. And then you may have to do some tweaking, but it literally works that way. So I'm curious, for one, did that help? Do you have a follow-up question with that? I know that was a lot, but okay. Do you have challenges coming up with video ideas?
Yeah, it's partly just because you know, like some of your video content, you know, that's like very broadly applicable.
Yes.
You know, a lot more broadly applicable than, you know, a dentist teaching like a very specific type of surgery. So I'm just like, I'm like you, I know nothing about the dentistry like world, but then he'll like suggest things to me, and I sort of, my filter is like, you know, if I can't understand it, seems a little too technical, I'm just like, maybe that might be a little too technical for everybody else, but then maybe I'm being a little too critical.
Nope. Yes, that's the answer. And that's exactly what I tell clients, and that's how I coach them back on track. They'll give me some fancy word or acronym, and I'm like, do the people watching this video know that word or acronym? And they'll be like, no. Okay, then we probably shouldn't say it that way, right? And then you're like, okay, cool. And so it's just like, it has to be easily, you know, it has to be understood by the consumer. And so the more that you can put your mind frame in like what a consumer would see, then you're actually doing them a better service of saying, we shouldn't go this direction. Then let's go ahead and run with your idea, and no one's going to understand this video. And not really through a fault of your own. You were trying to do good customer service. You were trying to offer your client, you know, great service, but it just, you know, didn't end up working. So it's like, hey, you know, I think that maybe that's a little bit too technical. And I think it would be really great if you educated them on that once they were already inside of the door. Right. So what can we give people tips on? So, and I'll give for you, you know, to share with you just some of the ideas that we did was like teaching them about like cavities and like, you know, crowns and the difference between that type of stuff. It's, you know, things that you can literally Google. And then, you know, but just be that person, right? Be that person to help them out through that.
Okay, awesome. We got 3 more questions. 2 from Facebook that I see, and then Damien, and then we will wrap up. Let's knock these Facebook out first, and then Damien, we'll get you at the end here. Martin Flores is asking, do you guys teach more in depth about what data to be looking for and how to pivot?
Yes, we will be going in the course as far as what data you want to look for, what to pivot, what are good signs that your content is working. All of that will be in the program. Yes.
Easy. Okay. And then Revens is asking, will home service providers be suitable to do micro content? Is there a process? Is the process going to be any different? I'm assuming she's talking about like general contractors, HVAC companies, stuff like that.
The process stays the same. When you find a process that works well, it's just like, I mean, think about like how many of us here can shoot great B-roll videos. Like you already know it has the bokeh, you do the parallax shot, you do the reveal shot, you do all these things. Doesn't matter what you're filming. It could be filming a product. It could be filming a person. It doesn't matter, right? Because we already know how to do that. So pre-production and like scripting, all that stuff is no different. Doing micro content for these other businesses is no different when you have the processes and steps. We do go about that in the program, but no, this is no different. It's just helping them find what are the value points that they do. What is something that you can teach somebody? What are your personal recommendations, and what are common conceptions about your industry that we can address in your content? That is literally, you do those things and you can swap any business into any of that content, because every business struggles with those things, with people not knowing everything about their products or their services, or people having questions, or my neighbor did this, but I don't know this. Every single business goes through that. So you can create content around that.
Okay, awesome. Let's finish up with Damien. Damien, last question. What do you got?
Yeah, so part of it was touched on a little bit earlier, but I'm very curious a little bit on what the back end of this looks like. I was kind of surprised when I was hearing things like you guys are having multiple phones logging in and out of different accounts to post on these different phones that you have for different clients. And I'm assuming when you get to the amount of clientele that you guys are pushing, that you're going to have a good bit. I was almost thinking that you guys were buying these phones bulk almost and trying to keep up with all the different clientels, because I know there's a certain amount you can have per phone, as well as storage organization for the content, just the entire back-end system, and being able to kind of create a system for that. Can you guys kind of shed a little light on what that actually looks like? And I guess I'm thinking more on like everything that would happen, I guess it would be after post-production. So once the content is done for company A for the next month or whatever it looks like, how do you guys go about just from the phones that you guys have to like keeping that systemized in the phone, to posting on the different social media platforms, to the different accounts that you guys have to go into those accounts to make the, like, that's a lot of stuff. So I'd love to get a little bit of light shed on that.
Brother, that's a great question. And the answer might be simpler than you think. So there is no logging in and out of stuff. We use these devices simply for the purpose of business. So for example, this phone right here has 3 accounts. It has 2 chiropractor accounts and 1 real estate agent account. And that is it. And I don't log out of them. I stay logged into them. And all I do every day after the videos are done is I go on my Trello board. I don't know if you've already watched the Trello board training or if you're in the program, you might want to check that out, because we talk exactly what you said. What do you do after the video is done? Right. But, essentially each device is kind of like a client management device, right? Like here we have, 100% chiropractic and, Kerbo real estate. Here on this phone, we have our fitness coach client, this client, and this client. Done. And like, it just stays there, right? It just stays there. And this is just, what we do to kind of operate the human side of things from what's up on the cloud. Storage wise, we're big fans of Google Drive. We just use Google Drive. And then in Trello, you can see how you create a card and you drop a Google Drive link in there every single day. So every day that it's time to post, I just see what video do I need to download on my phone today? Oh, this video I downloaded. Oh, here's my caption. I copy it. I go to the profile and I paste. I pasted my most recent video on the phone. So every day it's like, what do I have to do? Oh, and then again, of course you got to build a Trello management system in order for it to be like that. And we go over that, but yeah, man, there's no logging in and out. Once the client account is in here, the only reason why it would be taken out is if they're no longer a client. It stays here. We ask our clients to like not, have too many people on this account and all that type of stuff. And then really the magic of it kind of happens in the Trello board.
Have
Gotcha.
you,
So that,
Damien,
sorry,
did you watch the Trello board training? Have you seen that?
I have not, but based on what I'm hearing, I will be looking at that directly after this video.
Yeah, go at 20 minutes. It's going to blow your mind. Like all the question that you just asked, you get to see Rob actually play that out, like
cool,
legit step by step. So it'll be much clearer when you see it.
My man, sounds great.
Good
Thanks
stuff.
for your question, Damien.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Okay, guys, this has been awesome. Like we legit have a full room. We got a ton of people watching on Facebook. I hope that we got to everybody's questions. If I missed any, I apologize. But here's the reality, guys, is that these guys have a phenomenal program. So any questions that I may have missed or we didn't get to, the program that they put together, the micro content mastery course, is going to cover that in depth, super in depth. So we had a whole bunch of people hop into the program. In fact, Jimmy just joined. Jimmy, welcome. It's exciting. So he's in.
Welcome, Jimmy.
Guys, we have, let me see here, 6 days, 6 hours, 24 minutes, and 30 seconds until the price goes up. So if you guys want to hop in now. There's a split payment option. It is the pre-sale. So there's some content that's already in the program. These guys have already pushed out some content, and then the modules will start to drip out over the next month to 2 months. These guys are crushing it. Again, the spiff, $500 giveaway to B&H. We'll have a gift card, and then some individual coaching sessions with the guys. And then also kind of the grand prize winner is going to be somebody that's going to have the ability to collaborate with these dudes to create some of their own micro content for their business, which is awesome. Okay, cool. Guys, any last minute thoughts before we end this? Jay, Rob, Robert, Andrew?
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, just my thoughts. Just thank you everyone for hopping on, wanting to hang out with us, ask us, your questions. These were amazing questions, great questions. We hope that we're able to answer, all of them. We do plan to do more of these here in the next couple of days as well. Just a couple, Q&A. So if you like hanging out, if you have questions, if you have, sales meetings and things like that coming up, and, you want a refresher, we are more than happy to. And even before, we came out with this program, we were helping people, via DM, with different challenges that they had considering with micro content, and things are no different now. So there's 4 of us. Of course, we did, we specialize in different things within, the micro content realm. So we'll guide you if a question is better for somebody else. But guys, don't hesitate to reach out. We love helping you. You guys are our people. This is our community, and we love being here and offering value in every way we can. So thank you guys for hanging out and spending your time here.
Yeah, seriously, want to thank all of you out for coming out, and just also want to remind you guys, we're going to be updating this course with new, modern, fresh information, as we have TikTok coaches and stuff that are teaching us stuff, and we're going to create those lessons and put them on there as well. So yeah, just appreciate you all for coming out, and thank you.
Who's going to be the next person to close a huge deal and get that Rob bobblehead gift?
First one
Brother,
wins.
I love those memes, man. I love them.
Yeah.
They make my day.
I couldn't pass it up, man. That pose is perfect.
I screenshot every single one. I love it.
We need to have a wall of fame. Like every time somebody closes their first micro content deal, they get a meme and it goes up on the wall somewhere. That's got to be the coolest. Dude, could you imagine your own micro content with like all of the memes behind you, like on the wall? Like that'd be so
cool.
dope. You got to make it happen. We're committed to it, so it's gonna happen. Scott, you're too much, dude.
Yep.
Love it, brother.
Awesome.
Okay, Jay, Andrew, real quick, you guys got anything before we cut it off?
Good. This is awesome to see everyone. Glad we can assist in every way, and we're here to help everyone keep closing some more micros.
And then Jay had to leave a little earlier, David, so we're good to go.
Cool. All right, guys. That's it. Listen, we had a phenomenal workshop. Go back. If you haven't watched the workshop, go watch that. It's 2 hours, pen and paper. You're going to learn a ton of stuff. Also in the Facebook group, I posted just a sneak peek lesson where Rob's going over his Trello board management. This is a system that I didn't even know really existed. And to see how they're managing 200 videos per month and how simple it is, just go watch it. It's in the Facebook group. It's there. With that said, let's just all go off of mute and give these guys a round of applause for just dropping so much knowledge. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Magnificent.
Great.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it for the night. For those of you guys that are in the mastermind, remember that we have another workshop tomorrow. So that's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you then. But for now, everybody have a great evening. Brand with the Video boys, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Love y'all. See y'all next one.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Boys.